This story is all about a red ball.
Red.
Once there was a very red, very shiny, very bouncy ball. He lived in the toy shop with lots of other balls. Some were bigger than he was, but not so bouncy. Some were different colours, but not so shiny. Some were black and white, and they thought they were the most important. One day, Ben and Charlie visited the shop. "Oh, they're twins," thought Red Ball. "I want to go home with them." A hand came into the basket and took out a black and white ball. "Oh, no," said Red Ball. And then the black and white ball was put back, and the hand picked him up. Red Ball smiled. He was going to a home at last. That summer, Red Ball had so much fun as he rolled and bounced around the garden with Ben and Charlie. The weather grew colder. Red Ball was more muddy than red now. His shine had gone, and so had some of his bounce. One day, he was put in a box. "Oh, dear," said Red Ball. "I was so happy playing in the garden." But he settled down to sleep. When he woke up, the sun was shining. He was out of the box and back in the garden. But the two boys were playing with something else. "It's one of those nasty black and white things," said Red Ball. Then something nuzzled up to Red Ball. It had a wet nose and black and white fur. It was a black and white puppy. "Will you play with me?" it yapped. So the not-so-red, not-so-shiny, not-so-bouncy ball was about to have fun again. And he even began to think that black and white was not so bad after all. The story is called The Enormous Turnip. Once upon a time, a little old man and a little old woman lived in a little house with an enormous garden. One day, they were planting some seeds when a friendly robin flew down to see what they were doing. "Now leave those seeds alone, Robin," said the old man. "They're turnip seeds, and I just love turnips. White, round, juicy turnips." The sun shone, the rain rained, and one by one the seeds grew. Stems grew up, tall and straight, with shiny green leaves, and silently, in the ground, the turnips were growing rounder and bigger. "I think it's time to pull up our turnips," said the old man. "Oh, good," said the old woman. "Then I can make some delicious turnip soup." It was a lovely, sunny day, and the friendly robin pecked at the biggest turnip top. "Now leave that alone, Robin," said the old man. "It's too big for you." So the old man and the old woman pulled at the biggest turnip top. They pulled and tugged, but the turnip would not come out of the ground. Their neighbour, Farmer Straw, was passing by. "You look as if you could do with some help," he said. So the farmer pulled, the old woman pulled, and the old man pulled, but it was no good. "This turnip is really huge," said the old man. "We need more help." The farmer whistled to his dog and his sheep. Then the dog pulled, the sheep pulled, the farmer pulled, the old woman pulled, and the old man pulled. "It's no good," said the old man. "Where can we get more help?" Suddenly they heard a... and the friendly robin flew down and tugged at the dog's tail. So the robin pulled, the dog pulled, the sheep pulled, the farmer pulled, the old woman pulled, and the old man pulled, and out came the enormous turnip. None of them had ever seen a turnip so big. The little old woman made a huge pot of soup, and there was still some turnip left over for the friendly robin.
Baby Martha was nearly 1 year old. Her brother Josh wanted her to have a birthday party. But Mum said no. Martha doesn't understand birthdays, she explained. She's too little to have a party. Josh was very disappointed. He wanted to do something really special for his baby sister. Josh and Mum went shopping to buy Martha's presents. Josh chose a pink cuddly rabbit with soft floppy ears. On the way home, Josh thought about Martha's birthday. "I bet you'd like to go to a party," he whispered to the rabbit. Suddenly, he had a brilliant idea. The next day was Martha's birthday. She wanted to play with Josh, but he was busy doing something in his bedroom and he wouldn't let anyone see, not even Mum or Dad. "Please, can you blow this balloon up?" Josh asked Mum. "What do you want it for?" "It's a secret," replied Josh, and he dashed back into his bedroom. A little later, he came out again. "Have we got any ribbon?" he asked Dad. "What do you want it for?" "Wait and see," answered Josh. At last, Josh was ready. He threw open the door. His bedroom was decorated with streamers and balloons, and all of Martha's toys were sitting in a big circle. "It's party time!" he cried. Martha went straight to the pink cuddly rabbit and gave it a big hug. "Dada," she said. "I think that means thank you," smiled Dad. Mum brought in the cake and everyone sang happy birthday to Martha. Then Josh helped Martha unwrap the rest of her presents. Martha didn't understand any of it, but she had a lovely time, and everyone agreed that Josh had given her the best birthday party ever.
This story is called Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a little girl, and everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, her mother said, "I've made some buns for your grandma. Will you take them to her?" A visit to Grandma was always exciting because she would sometimes play tricks on her granddaughter. So off dashed Little Red Riding Hood. In the forest, 2 friendly rabbits ran in front of her, but suddenly they vanished, and there was Wolf hanging upside down in a tree. "Oh, Wolf," she said, "you scared those rabbits." "Ho, ho, ho," grinned the wolf. He enjoyed scaring rabbits. "What have you got in your basket?" "Buns for Grandma," said Little Red Riding Hood. "Not for you." And she went on her way. When she reached Grandma's cottage, she stepped inside. "Granny, where are you?" "I'm in bed," came the gruff reply. That doesn't sound like Grandma, thought Little Red Riding Hood. She went into the bedroom. "Your eyes look very large today, Grandma," she said. "All the better to see you with, my dear." "And your nose, it's very large too." "All the better to smell those lovely buns you've brought me." "Grandma, your mouth is huge too." "All the better to eat." "Eat what?" said Little Red Riding Hood. Just then the door was flung wide open. It was Grandma, and she was laughing. Grandma pulled back the curtains. The wolf sat up. He was dressed in Grandma's best nightdress and cap. And he was laughing. "Now," he said, "may I have one of those buns?" So Grandma, Little Red Riding Hood, and the wolf had the buns for tea.
Now, listen hard and you might hear some more bells.
That looks like someone's dinner. But I can't hear any bells.
Oh, Daddy.
Still no bells, though.
Keep listening. Pow! Pow!
Oh, where's it coming from?
That's right, Pom. She's got a little bell around her neck, so wherever she goes, people can hear her.
Have a nice dinner, Cat.